Wow. Well, first of all, thank you. I know it was a little tough getting in, and what a great day. I love when a player gets on like Tino Day today. I mean, that's Yankee. And we thrive on you really have to thrive on those kind of situations just because it's really the fundamental difference between the Yankees and everyone else is, you know, that legacy, that greatness, and I think the determination to get out there in Monument Park. So it's just beautiful to see. I mean, we follow Tino from '96 all the way through his career, St. Louis, back and forth, and we're going to bring him on in a few minutes to talk about that. A couple of quick little thank yous. I hadn't seen that sizzle reel, by the way. We don't just fire we're not firing people if they don't get accounts, and I mean, it's not that crazy. But all kidding aside, if you haven't been up to Steiner, you know, we're up in New Rochelle, make an appointment. It's really a fabulous place to go and take a look. 35,000 SKUs and a 60,000-foot warehouse that's got a lot of stuff and history, and it's worth it. I want to thank my friends at First Equity and Close New Partners. Mike Cava in the house. Thank you, thank you. Pink Tie organization also, take a look at that, great charity. We also support, and it's a charity of Mike's. I want to thank the Yankees. The Yankees are here. Some of their premium customers. You know I'm a big fan of that. So Yankees, Steiner, Jeter, Yankees. I don't know, in a little while, I think Gary Sheffield's coming, Cecil Fielder, Dwight Gooden, you'll see them around, and they should be around. So thank you. And you know, just before I'm going to bring Tino on for a few minutes. Then we'll bring Derek on. A couple things, just give you a little bit of an idea. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes because you know, we got to kind of find out what happened with Tino today and what that emotion was like. And then we'll bring Jeter on and we're going to do some Q&A. We're trying to limit the Q&A for the kids. So there'll be some roving mics. And then the other thing is just before I bring Tino on is, you know, thank you. Thank all of you for supporting our company. It's our 27th year and you know, we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to come up with really good products and get you closer to the game. And when you come out and support us like this on a night like this, I'm very grateful. So thank you. We're going to bring Tino Martinez on. Is he out there? Tino, yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Wow.
We're amped up, aren't we?
Wow.
Let's
Thank
go.
you. I wasn't expecting that, but I appreciate it.
And well deserved.
No, thank you.
You know, the one thing I want to say is, and I know I'm a little relentless, but you know, during the season, winning all these World Series and everything, I would call you constantly. And what I loved about you, even though it got me mad, is that you're so focused on the game. You never wanted to detract, never wanted to take away time. It was always very critical in the game. The focus, the preparation came first. And it was a little frustrating because, you know, we're always trying to put our products together, but how come, I mean, when you look at a day like today, do you say to yourself, what comes to mind what's going through your mind when you're out there?
Well, first of all, when I got the call about a couple of months ago that I was going to go into Monument Park, I was ecstatic. I was shocked. I was, you know, stunned. I couldn't believe it because you know, that's every Yankees' dream is to go into Monument Park. So when I got the call, I was just, you know, they told me June 21st is your day. We give you a plaque, and I was like, wow, man, you got to be kidding me. And then I thought that day of all the things I went through with the Yankees when I first got traded there, all the years we played, the championships, all the great things that happened while we were here, and this would be the last thing on my mind that I thought would happen is getting a plaque. So when I was out there today and I actually saw the plaque for the first time, you know, I was like, wow, you know, it's amazing. And I just didn't know, I didn't quite believe it yet, and I still really don't until, I would say, when I do see it out there in the park one day, and until then, it's just, it's crazy. It's an unbelievable an award they've given me.
The adversity. You know, when you talk to me about that, I mean, it wasn't always easy street. What's the one thing that comes to your mind where it's like, wow, maybe I'm not going to make it?
Well, you know, I knew I wanted to get traded here. I knew I wanted to play for the Yankees because I loved the atmosphere, the fans, and I knew they could be tough and all that. But having come in behind Donnie, who was a great player, the most beloved Yankee ever, one of the most beloved Yankees. the year before in '95, the Yankees went to the playoffs, and Donnie had a great postseason, and the fans weren't ready for him to go yet. They didn't want him to retire, and he retired, so I came in. But I wanted to be here, and I loved playing there. I got off to a rough start. I got booed and whatnot, but I did, and I deserved it. I was playing terrible, but you got to earn the fans' respect here, and everybody goes through it. And I knew that if I just kept working hard, playing through it, that eventually I'll start playing better and playing the way I'm capable of playing, and hopefully the team would win and do well, and everything would take care of itself.
You mentioned Joe.
Thank you.
You mentioned Joe Torre in your talk today, and can you give me a little insight, give me a story of something? You talked about him being a mentor and a friend, and tell me a little insight of what something may have happened that maybe we don't know about.
Well, I mean, it's not so much an inside story, but Joe is always like, every year, especially the first year here, everybody's first year here, especially Joe, a new manager with the boss, he's real tough on everybody. And for Joe to, we started out well, we played well as a team, and we hit some rough spots here and there. But when you hit a rough spot, you lose 5 or 6 in a row, the boss is, he's not happy. And with a rookie manager, I would say Joe's a rookie manager, but a rookie Yankee manager working for the boss, it's a tough job. And he never veered from the way he was with us. If we were playing well, Joe was happy and steady. And if we played poorly, he was the same. He never got frustrated, let us know that the boss is wearing me out, let's go. He always stayed calm and steady, and that had a big influence on our team. But then there are times when, he would just call you in his office on a random day, on a Saturday or Sunday morning, and just talk to you. Not about baseball, just, hey, how's your family doing? The kids good, everything good? Yeah, and he'll just give you like a little talk about your family and whatnot out of nowhere. And those are things that you really respect about him.
World Series Game 1. Bases loaded, you're up. I'm not going to lie. I was sitting there, please do not swing. This was bases loaded. Well, you were in a slump. You were struggling. Remember, that was a little. What was going on in your mind in that at bat?
I said, please do not strike out. No, the thing about the postseason is, nobody really knows what your batting average was or who did what. It's kind of like, as long as you win a game, the team can get 3 hits. If you find a way to win, nobody really knows what anybody did. So I took that approach where I was struggling, but every at-bat in the postseason is like a big at-bat. So, that at-bat there, I just happened to have the bases loaded, and I had an opportunity I was trying to get a base hit, just hit the ball hard somewhere, maybe even walk. When I got to a 3-2 count, I was just trying to make sure I got a good pitch to hit. Because if I walk, the run scores, we take the lead anyway. But I just got a great pitch to hit right there, and fortunately, I hit it well.
Derek Jeter, we're going to bring him out in a few minutes. What's it like to be his teammate? And also, you're pretty good friends. What's that experience like?
Well, not because he's my friend and all that, but he's just what you see on TV. He's what everybody says. He's awesome, a great guy, a great player, but just as normal as you can possibly get. All my friends at home or people that I kind of hang out with here or there always want to ask about him. What's he like? And I bore them to death. I go, he's just like everybody else. He's so normal. He's so down to earth. You would never know he's a superstar if you just sat and talked to him. He's just just such a mature guy and just a great guy to be around.
Now, does he pay for dinner when you've saved those errors? No, but you've saved a lot of his crazy throws. Like, is he picking up dinner that night? Or?
He picks up a lot of dinners. Let's put it that way. Not because of that. Not because of that. He's just a generous guy. It's hard to pay for a dinner when he's around, no matter who's there.
Paul O'Neill, just another guy that's getting honored later in the summer. Just give me a little take on Paul and what that was like, because you guys were lockers next to each other.
Yeah. The thing about our teams was, and I had to talk about it today quite a bit with the media and whatnot, why were we so successful? And it was guys like Paul and Derek and Bernie and Jorge. Guys, we all had the same mentality. We all played hard, we worked hard. We didn't try to be superstars or get all the headlines. We just wanted to win games every day. And Paul was like that too. Paul came to the ballpark, and he was very hard on himself. It seems like Paul, when spring training started, the first game of the season started, until the last game of the season, he never smiled or was never happy. He wasn't. He wanted to get his hits every day. He wanted to win games, and he was so focused and on the daily basis that, he'd laugh once in a while, but he was dead serious until the end of the season. And you win the World Series, and he would just, be a whole different guy.
But you ribbing each other a lot? I mean, giving each other a hard time?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of back and forth?
Well, of course, because we have great guys in our clubhouse that aren't afraid to talk back to each other, and and Paul would always say stuff like, "Am I ever gonna get a hit again? Am I ever gonna get a hit again?" I'm going, we tell him, "Not with that swing you have working now. You get that one." Hopefully you get one going.
Well, thank you. I just want to spend a few minutes, and we're going to bring the captain, Derek Jeter, on. The thing about Derek is he always likes to come a little late, just to get me a little sweating, I think. Just to get me like a little nervous, like maybe you're not going to come.
It's not true. I was out front. No one told me the side street, so you got to work on that.
Really?
Yeah, I was out front for 10 minutes.
Wow, that's cold. Well, first of all,
I wasn't lying, too. I heard whoever just yelled that out.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming. We're just
Thanks
grateful
for
to have you. And
one more time for Tino. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was going to say is, what is it like, to watch, obviously close friend and teammate, to see him, honored today and on the field like that? What goes through your mind?
It's well deserved. Tino is someone that he's one of the guys that took care of me when I was younger, growing up. He's one
Talking about the wild throws, or?
I'll let you have it. I'll get you. We got a long time up here, buddy. So, but he's one of the guys that took care of me when I was younger. He's a close friend of mine now. We live right down the street from each other down in Tampa, so we spend quite a bit of time together. So I couldn't be happier for him. He deserves it as much as anyone.
It must be. When you see your teammates come back, and we saw the core four back today, what goes through your mind is like, you see another year you're going to be kind of with those guys. Does that go through your mind, or you're just kind of still focused on the game? And
oh, it's just focused on the game. Yeah, it's kind of odd at first. Throughout the years, guys continue to come back, and I'm still out there playing. But I was always the youngest one.
Which, by the way, you look marvelous. Doesn't he look great? It's unbelievable. You really look as good as you looked 10 years ago.
He's trying to be nice now because he knows I have a
No,
long
I'm
memory.
serious.
I have a long
it's
memory.
unbelievable. Really, what's the key? Is there a key to your exercise diet, or?
Oh, hard work, dedication.
Okay.
Those sorts of things that you've yet to figure out, but those things help.
A couple guys I want to ask you about. One right out of the gate, because I know you're a big fan of, is Don Zimmer. Miss him. What a character. And for your 3,000 hit, we were together watching that at the stadium, and he was just gloating. What's your take on Don?
Yeah, Zim, Tino will tell you the same thing. Zim, he was someone who's seen absolutely everything possible in the game of baseball. He's in baseball for 50-something, 60-something years. And, I'm sort of a sponge for knowledge, especially when I was younger. And I used to always go to him for advice. And he was the best storyteller. He had a lot of stories. And, he's someone that deeply missed. He cared a lot about me, my family. He was just recently at my golf tournament down in Florida. So, thoughts and prayers go out to his family.
Any quick Zimmer stories that kind of got you going a little bit? Because he's one of those guys always meddled in trying to get things going and trying to help you along. Anything that come to mind?
He was just perfect for Joe Torre, though, because Joe Torre is so calm and laid back, and Zim was fiery guy, and they were just a great combination. But having gone back a step, I wanted to mention his name today in my speech on the field, but I thought I was going too long, so I kind of cut it short. Because like Derek said, he was a great man off the field as well. Every time I saw him, no matter where it was at, he'd come over and talk to me, and same thing about the family, the kids. What are you doing now? And he was just an awesome guy. And there's a lot of stories about him, I guess. I'm sure some of you all have read about where I guess the boss had them up one day after a big loss. They had all the coaching staff come to his office around 11:30 or midnight, and the boss told the coaches there, if any of y'all think you're doing a good job here, if any of y'all think you're doing a good job, you can go ahead and get up and leave right now. And Zim got up and left. And took off. Got his stuff and he took off. That was it. That's Zim.
What a character. Well, while we're talking about Joe Torre, I asked him a little bit about, obviously a big summer for him getting in the Hall of Fame. What's your take on Joe Torre getting in the Hall of Fame? And also, did you think he got the best out of you?
Well, first off, it's about time. Is my initial thought. I think a lot of people fail to realize how great of a player he was. Mr. T won an MVP back in the day, and you add on top of that what he's been able to do as a manager. I mean, it's about time that he gets in. No one deserves it as much as him. He does as good a job as anyone in terms of managing people. He's the one that taught me, you always hear the phrase, you treat everyone the same. Well, I don't agree with that. You treat everyone fairly, but you don't treat them the same because there's different personalities, and I learned that from him.
Will you be playing the Old Timers game tomorrow?
Yes.
Dressed and everything?
Yeah. The thing is, a lot of the older old timers, they can't play, so they try to get, the younger old timers to play, so at least they have some sort of a game to go with. It's fun. It's great to be around those guys, though.
It would be great to see Yogi tomorrow. He's supposed to come out.
Hopefully,
we haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
And Whitey Ford too.
Yeah.
Are you politicking, realizing that will be a game you'll be playing in the future?
No, I haven't thought about it. No, I have other games to play in right now.
Your last season, what are you cherishing? What are you able to grab onto? What's the most meaningful? What's meaningful for you right now as you move into your last?
I mean, it's kind of difficult for me because we have another half of the season to play. So I can't think about this being my last year when we're trying to win games. So it's sort of a juggling act, and it's something I think maybe will hit towards the end of the year. But right now, I'm just trying to enjoy competing because I missed pretty much all of last year.
You're hitting 275. You're playing pretty well. I mean, could you rethink that and maybe stay another year?
No, this is it.
You could tell us. We won't tell anybody.
No, you can tell everyone. This is it.
Hard decision?
No, it wasn't a hard decision. I think I remember talking with Tino before, and he's like, "How do you know when it's going to be your last year, or when you've had enough?" And for me, it just hit me that this was going to be my last year, and that's it. That's final.
The team this year, the league this year, has things changed? Is it a different game right now? What we used to see maybe back in the 90s? Is it different to win these days?
Well, there's differences. I mean, you see all these shifts and all this stuff that everyone's doing, so that's a little bit different than when we came up.
Fan of it?
Am I a fan of it?
Of the shifts?
I wish they'd shift me. I really do. I really wish they would. So if you know any opposing managers, tell them to shift. But it's different now. There's a lot of computer elements to the game now, which I think in that sense has changed.
The evenness, though, it just seems like anybody can win on any given day. It reminds me a little of the NFL. Do you feel that it's a good thing? Do you feel like what's the league right now it's a good thing, or?
Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, you want competitive balance. I believe that's what we have. What we did, our teams did back in the day, and that's very difficult to do. I mean, you have to have a good team to make it to the postseason. You have to be hot to win. We were fortunate to win a lot in that span of a short period of time, but now it seems like any team has a chance, and I like that. If you're a fan, you have to like that.
The thing about him that's always interesting is, and you always talk about this, is the mental, the mindset, the focus and the toughness. Do you see? Is it that right now? Teams just coming together. There's a lot of new faces, but is it hard to kind of get that kind of that mental toughness and get everyone engaged?
I don't think so. We have a lot of veterans on our team. We have guys that have been around for a long time. We have a team that doesn't give up. We grind it out, and I like what I've seen so far. Really?
I like it too. A lot of characters.
Do you ever see his mannerisms now are so much different when he's just the moderator? Huh?
Well, usually,
he loves this. He loves the attention.
I'm learning.
That he gets.
No, but
he absolutely loves it.
Usually, I get my one time a year to tell Derek all the the players I think we should trade. Usually, at the end, usually you're pissed. You're not happy with me. But I like this team.
Brandon thinks he knows everything. You know what I'm saying?
I'm learning.
He's an expert on all sports.
I'm just speaking for all the fans. It's not that I think I know everything. I'm just speaking for all the feedback that I get. Because, for Yankee fans, you have to realize I'm a diehard Yankee fan.
Are you?
Oh, since I'm diehard on the D train, hour and a half each way.
Yeah.
Sitting out in right field.
All right.
So this is, it's a long way from that Brooklyn kid, but still. I still watch Yankee baseball. Very rarely miss your at-bats.
Is that right?
If I'm doing something else, I'm trying to keep the game on. I've almost seen so many of your at-bats. So this way, when I'm with you, I can give you feedback. Preparation. Preparation. How important is preparation? I mean, you were a big preparer.
Yeah, I was a big preparer, but you asked Derek the question earlier, why he looks so good, whatever is going on. And I've seen him for years in Tampa. I mean, his workout routine is ridiculous. With a trainer in the morning, and he eats right. He does so many things that, early in the morning, 5:30, 6 in the morning, he works out, he hits, he does all his stuff to prepare for every season. And he's done that for years and years. And I think a lot of people think that, you go to the gym for 30 minutes or work out, and you go home, you go on vacation and all that. It's not like that. I mean, Derek's got this routine that's ridiculous, but you got to be prepared. I mean, on a daily basis, you got to be prepared. Before the game, in the off season, you got to be in shape. You got to be prepared. Who you're facing that day. You don't want to be caught off guard. And if you are, you kind of lose a little bit of an advantage.
And how'd you go about your preparation? Were you a big video guy? Were you?
I would go. For the most part, you face the same guys all the time. You know most of the pitchers. Every now and then, a new guy comes in the league, so you know what they're going to do and how they're going to try to get you out. And sometimes I'll go to the video machine and watch my last at bats against him and see what he did to me in certain counts or how he tried to get me out. And he may change the next game, like I would change an approach against him as well.
When you think about his just over the approach to the game, how do you rank his competitive spirit?
Oh gosh, the best. I mean, Derek's really cool on the field. He's really is a cool player, real laid back kind of player out there. But he's got a fire inside him that wants to win all the time. And I've driven home with him the last couple of years from games. I'm not playing. I'm just waiting for him to take me back to the city. And they lose a game in May or in June. It's like he's just pissed. I mean, it's like, man, Derek, it's June, man. It's all right. No, man, it bothers him, which is a great thing. That's why he's so driven and so successful.
I've never seen you out there. I mean, am I mistaken? I rarely see you out there looking at all and the least bit frustrated or angry. Is that kind of by design?
I hide it. I've been pretty good at compartmentalizing my emotions. So, it's very rare that I show emotion.
Usually, is it the three? Sometimes I can see like it's
No.
12, 13. Is it the pounding of the glove or
No.
no?
No.
You are competitive, but besides yourself, who's some of the competitive guys you've played with that really that you've actually been able to enjoy, watch?
A lot of guys. Tino's competitive. I'm not just saying it because he's up here. Tino is competitive. We had a lot of guys back there. Once you win, you get used to it. That's all you want to do, and it bothers you when you lose. We had a group of guys that felt that way. Jorge was the same way. Mo didn't play every day, but Mo was the same way. Andy expected a lot. I mean, these are a group of guys that came up through the organization. We learned from guys like Tino and guys that came up when, a little older than us when we first came up.
How do you get, I get crazy when you guys lose. Like, I can't imagine what it would be like playing, putting everything out there. How do you get through it? How do you put that behind you, move on?
Don't read the papers, don't listen to the radio. Face it, we play it, it's a game of failure, and people pay so much attention. Everything is negative now, which can be frustrating because, you guys, I shouldn't stereotype everyone, but people assume we show up at 6:30 and play a game at 7, but we're there at 3 o'clock and we're working and we're answering questions, and a lot of times the questions are negative. So I just personally have tried to stay as optimistic as possible. So I don't pay much attention to that. We play every single day. There's going to be times when you struggle. There's going to be times when you're good. You're usually not as bad as you look when you're struggling, and you're usually not as good as you look when you're going good. But you have to be able to sort of stay on an even keel and realize that you have another game tomorrow.
Is there a place you go when you are struggling a little bit? Where do you go to get that feedback or to get you back on track? Is it the hitting coach? Is it?
No, it's over with. It's done with. You learn from it. Everyone makes mistakes. I just try to learn from my mistakes, but I try not to take it home. I mean, Tino's joking about car ride home, but once I get home, I'm not watching highlights and watching replays of the game.
Turn 2 Foundation and your charity. You started the foundation in '96. Charlie now runs it. Has that lived up to your expectation? Is that going in the right direction? And after you finish your career, is that something you'll be putting more time into?
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing it up. It's the prevention of drug and alcohol abuse for kids. I started in 1996 after my first year. Got a lot of support from a lot of you out here. You know, Tino's been down to my golf tournament, attended my dinners here. Brandon's helped out a lot as well. But it's above and beyond anything we expected when we started. It was a small family foundation, and we've given back, I think, around $20 million to the community. So it's something we're extremely proud of.
Well, first of all, I love the G to Leader program. This is my second G to Leader we're getting. I wanted to fire some people after the first one. This high school kid out working, out smarting everybody. That was amazing. If people want to get involved, make a donation, go right to their website?
Yeah,
or?
go right to the website and you can learn about it. But, you know, all the help and support we can get is much appreciated because, you know, this is something that, you know, I'd like to continue beyond my playing days.
I forgot to tell you this, I'm sorry. We are streaming this live.
Oh, yeah? Okay, good.
This is like millions of people watching.
You wouldn't do it
Any other
if
way.
there was any other way.
It's a minor mention there. Tino, your charity, and what are you focused on? You've now been out of the game a little bit. You're doing some work in a hospital in Tampa still, or?
Yeah, I did work for, we helped build a building for the children's unit at St. Joseph's Hospital in Tampa. We're done with that already. That worked out very well. We got a bunch of donations from friends and dinners and whatnot, and that took about 3 years. And it's a great thing because it's really for the babies who are born with heart diseases, and they can treat the babies right away when they're born and fix their hearts. It's amazing what they do. And they needed more room. Yeah. Our hospital in Tampa was like one of the biggest ones that had that surgery. And people would come from Puerto Rico and Peru and different places to Tampa just to get that surgery done on their babies. So they needed more room. They didn't have enough rooms and beds and all that, so it worked out good.
Okay, we're going to take some questions. There's some roving mics out there. Yes. So we're going to take some questions and see some feedback from the audience.
I see him right there.
Now we can see him.
Is there one out there? Okay.
Hey, Derek, how are you?
Hello.
Question for you. I think I could speak for a lot of us 6 years from now, 5-6 years from now, when you go into Cooperstown, I think they're probably going to set a record. Most of us will be there. My thoughts are, or my question for you is this. The guys that did not do things the right way, do they hold a place in Cooperstown? And if you had a vote, would you vote for someone maybe that you knew didn't do things the right way?
Well, it's an easy question. The second part, I don't have a vote, so I don't vote. The first part of the equation is, look, people make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. I get that. You try to learn from your mistakes. I've always been one that's tried to learn from my own mistakes as well as the mistakes of others. I think that's tough. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how people are going to vote. I don't know if time will change things. So it's a tough question. I'm glad that I've done things the right way and I don't have to think about it. Tino, I'll tell you. You know, Tino will say the same thing, but once again, people make mistakes, and you own up to your mistakes, and you just try to learn from as much as possible. But I really don't know what's going to happen there. Mm-hmm.
Next question.
Hi, Derek.
Hello.
And Tino.
Hi.
Congratulations on today. I wanted to thank you both for many, many beautiful memories
Thank you.
at Yankee Stadium. It's really wonderful that you're here today. The question I wanted to ask you was to Derek and Tino. who is the single most, besides your family, is the single most influential person that you most admire and that had the biggest influence on your career?
For me, you know, said besides my family, probably Mr. T. You know, Mr. Torrey. Yeah, you know, he was someone that gave me an opportunity to play when I was younger. He had a lot of confidence in me. He treated me like a man from when I first came up. He knew I was going to make mistakes. He had confidence in me. And I learned a lot from him on how to deal with people and how to deal with ups and downs. And if you always see him, Tino knows too, when he'd get upset, he'd wear his hat a little bit different, but other than that, you couldn't tell. He never panicked, and you know, I learned a lot from him.
Well, I'm like Derek as well. Excuse me. We come from tight families, so our parents were very influential on us. But besides that, I'd have to say, you know, I would say Lou Piniella, because when I first got to the big leagues in Seattle, yeah. When I first got to the big leagues, I had a couple of different managers my first couple of years, and they just kind of like, I was a rookie, they brushed me aside, I didn't play a whole lot. They didn't think I could do the job, I guess. And when Lou got there, he told me, you're going to be my first baseman, you're capable of doing this and this and this, and he taught me a lot in the 5 years I played for him that really helped me at that young age to become a better professional and a better hitter and all that. And then going right into Joe Torre's years was, like Derek said, he's just a mentor on and off the field to all of us, and he was a great man in my life too.
Would love to have you both over for lasagna.
Right.
She's in Jersey, and she told me to just pass that message along. So.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. How you doing, Derek and Tino? Hello. It's kind of crazy to talk to your legends 10 feet away from you. Actually, two-part. Tino, I do have a question for you, also you, Mr. Jeter. Tino, do you think you can actually recreate the home run in '98, hitting a ball into a beer cup again in the upper deck?
I don't know if I actually went in a beer cup, but it was obviously a great home run, and I enjoyed watching all the beer fly around and stuff. That was kind of cool.
And Jeter, what is more your memorable hit? The home run in '96 against the Orioles, or your 3,000?
Oh, man, that's an easy one. The 3,000 hit, you know, I mean, that was just a special day altogether. So, you know, I don't ever like to judge things or rank different things in my career, but that day will stand out. Mm-hmm.
Brandon, we have a question from Twitter from Ollie, New York Yankees. Do you guys have a special piece of memorabilia besides your World Series rings from your championship seasons?
I have my locker from the old stadium. Yeah, Brandon didn't want to give it to me, so. That's true, yeah.
You want to
That's
talk
true.
about
So
this? Or?
we can, but the Steiner and me and Steiner relationship almost ended over that locker.
Wow.
Remember that?
I never heard that before.
You heard it. You were on the bench that day, remember?
Oh, we had a little conversation.
Yeah,
in the
now you
dugout.
remember, right?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, no, but I have a few things that I've gotten.
It was a valuable piece of memorabilia.
Right.
And it wasn't like, you know, can you drop off a couple balls at my house? Which we're always very generous to do that. And the city and the Yankees were involved in that process, along with your other teammates all won the locker. But you know we came through, though.
Yeah, we negotiated. It was a negotiation.
Yeah, that was weird. Because I was upset about a couple of things. He turned it on me, you know. It's like, I was upset, what are you upset about? Then he like, bam, how about my locker? But that was the one time I realized, honestly, when I was talking with you, I was like, you know, this guy really does, because I always think like maybe sometimes you're not thinking about certain things. But after that conversation, I was like, he really does think about a lot of things.
I don't even remember the question.
Yeah, what was, I think we were talking about how much Steiner memorabilia you oh, no. What your favorite piece of memorabilia was.
Next question.
Tino, do you save her or no? Do you
I have a couple of seats from the old Yankee Stadium that I had to buy from Steiner Sports.
Thank you.
I do. I have three sets of twos, so each one of my kids can take one when they get married and take off. They each have a set of seats, but I don't collect a whole lot. I have the '98 World Series ball last out against the Padres. I still have that.
You still have that?
Yes, that.
Interesting. Other questions? We gotta move on.
Hi, I've got a question. What is the funniest story Yogi Berra ever told either of you?
Man.
I'll just give you one. He didn't tell me, but I've heard the stories because I'm around him quite a bit in the past couple of years. He told Reggie Jackson one day in Old Timers Day, they lined up and all that stuff. I guess Reggie was next to Yogi. And throughout that whole ceremony, they always go through the obituaries of the Yankee family members who have passed away. And Yogi looked at Reggie and told him, I hope I don't see my name on that list.
That was a good one.
I can't top that right there. Thank you.
Right here with the.
Me? So I am a shortstop as well for my team. What can I do to become a Major League Baseball player?
Tito?
Oh, man. Well, you had to work hard, man. That's all I did. I worked hard. I practiced hard. Did well in school. School is the most important thing right now for you. If you do good in school, then everything else takes care of itself, in case you don't make it. But you got to work hard. You got to practice. Practice a lot.
What's your name? What's your name?
Lewis.
Lewis, he's going to make you think it's the hardest thing in the world.
No.
It really isn't that hard.
Well, I think what you have to, coming from the expert. No, but I think what you have to realize is there's steps along the way. You know what I mean? I think you have to set goals. There's short-term goals, and then there's long-term goals. You know what I'm saying? How old are you?
13.
13. So what grade is that?
7.
7th grade. So, you know, I mean, you got to focus on, I don't know if it's, for us it was Little League, then we had summer ball, and then it's your high school team, and then it's, you can use baseball to get an education and maybe go to college, but there's different steps along the way. I think a lot of times people assume we just wake up and you're in the major leagues, but I think you have to just set goals and work extremely hard, like Tino said. I mean, it's no easy road. I mean, you have to work hard. I mean, there's a lot of people that are trying to do the same thing that you want to do. Don't ever let someone tell you you can't, but you got to outwork everyone.
A couple more.
Jeter. When you made the catch to take the game, was it like hard, like when you dived over the fence?
You know, actually, you know, catching that particular ball was not difficult. I mean, it was just a pop-up. But a few years earlier, we were playing the playoffs, and I fell in the photographer's pit, which is all cement. A similar play, but a little bit different. And I fell in the photographer's pit and didn't feel too good. So I thought I would do the bright thing and jump over the photographer's pit. And I figured I'd run into someone, but there was no one in that particular seat. So it didn't feel very good, but the catch part wasn't difficult. It was the aftermath.
You know, that's the first time I heard that you actually thought about it. I mean, a little bit in your mind, you were thinking if that ever happened again, because you always talk about trying to think of every situation after every pitch, after. So were you thinking, had you given some thought about that for the first time to do that?
No, I didn't. No.
No?
I was sort of in the moment. You know,
Okay.
I didn't say, you know, if I catch a foul ball over here, I'm going to jump over the photographer's pit. Yeah, I would have thought of something different if that were the case.
But while on that subject, a real quick thing is, On the preparation, are you thinking about that many things in between every pitch? Are you thinking about all the possibilities?
Well, yeah, I like to think, my biggest fear in life is being unprepared in anything. I just don't like it. It makes me very uncomfortable. So, you know, I try to think of all different possible scenarios before they happen.
When you put your glove up and you go to the second baseman, what are you telling them?
Just who's covering second on the steal.
You didn't know that?
I wasn't sure.
The expert didn't know who's
I
covering
was thinking,
second base on the steal?
you know, where you going for dinner? What do you think about, you know, I don't know. But so that's it, that's simple? Who's covering, that's it?
That's simple, yeah.
Are you watching the catcher signs? Are you thinking about what he's throwing and then how you'd react based on a curveball?
Well, you see what he's throwing, and then you relay it to different people and move around, and there's a lot of things that are, well, it's not as easy as you may think it is, Brandon, but...
And the reason I bring that up is I always say it's not as easy what we're doing as he thinks it is.
What's that?
You know, the whole collectible thing and this whole thing. And so we're just trying to...
Give Steiner an awe in it. 1, 2, 3, awe.
Thank you. Moving right along, we have a couple more questions. This is a ball of fun here. Where's the...
Jeter, how did you get in Major League Baseball?
Well, I'm sorry, what's that?
How'd you get in Major League Baseball?
How did I get in there? I was drafted. You know, they have something called a draft where every team gets to draft a particular player. So I was drafted by the Yankees.
When did you just start to play baseball?
How old are you?
I'm 7.
7, so just a couple years before you were born.
I just would like to thank the both of you for being great role models for my grandchildren and all the children in this United States. It's a pleasure to see people like you playing ball because there's so many out there that don't have the same attitude and act the way you guys do, and it's just nice to see, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Do you think about, I mean, you know, obviously you're in your, is it your 30th season? But do you think about what people, you know, do you think about the role model part of it? Do you care, does that go a lot into your mindset since the beginning or more as your career?
Well, I think you realize when you're in this position that we've been fortunate to be in, that sometimes people are going to look up to you. I think if that's the case, if you have that pedestal, so to speak, you should try to give back as much as you can. You know, I'm a believer, if you have a little, give a little. If you have a lot, give a lot. But I think also you are who you are. You know what I mean? I don't walk out of the house saying I have to act a certain way because I'm a role model, so to speak. I am who I am, and you know, I think if you try to be something that you're not, they'll figure it out eventually.
Tino, same thing for you? I mean, a lot of pressure to be a Yankee, right from spring training on. I mean, is it something you think about, what kind of effect you've had on so many?
Well, I mean, you don't, like Derek, you don't think about it. You just, you know, there's a bunch of kids out there that you may run across at the mall or somewhere, wherever you see them, and they're so excited to see you, so you just want to give them, you know, hello, how you doing? You can't just blow them off and, you know, treat them like, you know, you're a big deal. You know, because it's the first time they meet you, and they, you know, you want to leave a good impression. So I don't think about it. I just try to be nice to everybody if I can, and you know, and that's how I go about it. So I enjoy meeting people as well. When I see people in the streets and stuff, and they say hi to me, I say hi to them and talk to them and all that. So, you know, being a role model is just trying to do the right thing. You know, my parents raised my brothers and I the right way, and I just try to do the right things for the most part, and be a good person, I guess.
Okay. Two more. Who's next?
This question is for Jeter. What was the first thing that went in your mind when you got your 3,000th hit?
The first thing, what was that? What did somebody say? About time? Yeah, it's not exactly easy to do.
I know what Brandon was thinking. Brandon was thinking, how am I going to get that ball back?
Yeah.
What do I do?
It was a problem. We had promised. Well, the truth of the matter is, that was true. I was like, oh my God, we hadn't thought of that. And we had to get him the ball. That was kind of part of the deal, that we were going to get you the ball.
Was it?
Not in the dugout that day, but that was another.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was another.
The first thing that went through my mind was all the people that have supported me. I was glad I did it at home. I was running out of games to do it at home. And all the people that were a part of it, you know, my dad was there. My mom and my sister weren't there because my sister just had my nephew, and they had a christening, so they weren't able to be there. So it was a lot of things that were going through my mind when I was rounding the bases, but just I think all the support that I've gotten throughout the years.
Thank you. Out of all the World Series you had, what was your favorite one?
Tito?
All of them. You know, '96 was great because it was the first one we won, and you know, it was my first year with the Yankees and all that, and it was very exciting. But then you get a chance to do it again in '98. It's great. '99, you don't think you're ever going to be able to do it again. So each time you do it, it's just as good as the other, maybe even better.
You have a favorite?
Yeah. I mean, the first time you do anything, it's going to stand out. But yeah, like Tino said, you play to win a championship, and we were fortunate to win a few. So they're all pretty special. I like the one when we were playing the Mets too. That was.
A lot of pressure there. A lot of pressure, you know, going through a series like that, you know, playing the Mets, everything, obviously the whole city was amped up.
Well, I don't necessarily know if there's more pressure. I mean, there's always pressure. I mean, the teams that we had, we pretty much treated every game like it was the same. And then when you get to a World Series, everything, you know, you don't have to change your philosophy. But there was more talk, obviously, because it was the talk of the town. And you know, I was stay in the city during the season, and Tino the same way. And you know, if we would have lost that one, then I probably would have moved out of Manhattan.
Is that your secret, though? There is no such thing as a big game? Every game is a big game?
I think every game's the same. You know, there's more attention on particular games, but if you treat every game like it's the most important game you're going to play, when you get into a big game, you don't have to change anything.
All right, sure. Last one. One more.
Thank you.
Just wanted to thank you all for taking the time to come see us today. And when we're overseas, and you know, no matter how long our days are, we might have an 18-hour day, but also has to bring up and say who's better, Red Sox or Yankees, would be up for another 6 hours. So you guys give us a lot of good times over there. My question is to you, Derek. When you were named the captain, I think we heard that term a lot. You know, you're the captain. What were your thoughts when you were named the captain? You were told that, and as through the years, what challenges have you faced doing that role?
Well, I think it's a funny story. The year I was named captain, I dislocated my shoulder on opening day, and
that was in Toronto?
That was in Toronto, but in that previous offseason, the boss had made a comment saying that he didn't like to hear about me being at a birthday party till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, I don't know about anyone here, but I have one birthday a year. So, this is true, right? So the media turned it into I was a big party animal, which they still run with now. So me and the boss got into it a little bit, and then I dislocated my shoulder. We made that Visa commercial where we're doing the conga line, and we made light of the whole story, and da-da-da. So I came back to New York, and this was Hideki Matsui's first year. So he lived in the same building as me. So when I got back, I said, well, I'm going to try to make Masui comfortable. I'm going to invite him over. I invited a bunch of teammates over, and we're going to have dinner at my place, and we're going to go out. So we did that. Now, there was 12 of us out. The next day, they didn't mention a person on our team being out but me. I was on the front page. And it said it's 3 a.m. and Derek's out on the town, right? So I got a phone call the next day, and it was from the boss. I thought I was in trouble. And he told me he was going to name me the captain of the team. I had sort of so there was a real swing of emotions that happened in a short period of time. But I think the thing I've learned probably the most being named the captain is how to deal with people. I think a lot of times people try to lead different ways. You know, you lead by example, but I think you also have to take the time to get to know the people that are on your team. Because like I told you with Mr. T, you don't treat everyone the same. You treat them all fairly, but you got to take the time to get to know people. So I try to take as much time as I can to get to know my teammates. And you know, some guys you can yell at, some guys you sort of have to hug, but it takes time to do that.
Parting shots. You gotta. This love fest has got at some point. Parting shots. Something you want to share that maybe that you didn't say. Anything.
No, I just again we appreciate the fans. You guys are you make the New York Yankees. Dude, you guys are great. I mean, we say it all the time, and when you play in that stadium with the fans we have, that's what makes playing here so special, because you guys are so into it, and you really give us a boost and advantage against the other team all the time. So thank you all.
Congratulations. Big day for you.
Thank you.
Notice the socks. Tremendous.
Thank you.
It's been an honor. It's a pleasure to have worked with you all these years, really. Derek, parting shot.
I mean, Tino said it. It's the fans is what makes it special for us. Parting shots. Congrats once again to Tino. I mean,
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I couldn't be happier for Tino, because like I said, when you're younger, you remember the guys that took care of you and looked out for you, and Tino's at the top of the list.
Well, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. All kidding aside, this is honestly the best partner we've ever had, and I could probably spend an hour.
Got to be nice now, because
it's true, but
nice.
He knows. I mean, we're so grateful to have the relationship, and where you don't know is how much he goes out of his way to do so many little things that we need to, obviously, to get the fans different things. And a lot of times he looks at me like I'm crazy, but it makes people's day. It makes their life. Sometimes we're able to create these products, and he's amazing. He's been a great partner, and it's been amazing. Same here with Tino. Thank you to all of you. We appreciate it. And Elise is going to come and give you direction of what next to do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. That was good. Thank you. Thank you.